Okay, we're gonna go ahead and get started. I will go ahead and call this meeting of the Citizen Advisory Commission, the special meeting I'm calling to order now at 3:03 PM. May we have the roll call, please?
Commissioner Bruning,
Here.
Commissioner Mendez,
Here.
Commissioner Thomas,
Here.
Vice Chair Burke,
Here.
and Chair O'Clair.
Present. We're now gonna move to public comment section of our meeting. We'll now hear public comments on items, public comments not pertaining to items on this agenda. Comments are limited to 3 minutes. This process is the same for comments pertaining to each agenda item. Madam Clerk, do we have any public comment?
We have no general public comments.
Thank you very much. We're now going to move to the conflict of interest disclosures. Are there any commissioners that have identified a conflict of interest? If so, please state them now and then at the beginning of the relevant agenda item. Okay, thank you very much. We're now going to move to the consent calendar. Items on the consent calendar are considered in one motion. If an item, is there a motion to approve the items on the consent calendar, which are the minutes from our previous meeting?
Move to approve.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Madam Clerk? please.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 All opposed? Hearing none, motion passes unanimously.
Thank you so much. We're now going to move on to the business items this afternoon, and that is the second item, which is an amendment to the Heroes History and Heritage Policy. Staff, do you mind presenting the report? Thank you.
Good afternoon, commissioners, members of the public, my fellow city staff member at the dais here. So item number 2 on the agenda, as the chair indicated, is a consideration of an amendment to the Heroes History and Heritage Policy to allow for the inclusion of the Centenarian Recognition Program. Earlier this year, the City Council expressed an interest in establishing a process to recognize members of our community celebrating their 100th birthday. On April 7th, the City Council approved the city's Centenarian Recognition Program. In a nutshell, the program celebrates members of our community who currently reside in our community or who have resided here for the majority of their life and are celebrating their 100th birthday. Those who meet the eligibility criteria will receive a city proclamation, and at their option, honorees may be celebrated at a public meeting of the City Council and have such information recognized on social media platforms and in the city's newsletter. During its discussion and approval of this item, the council requested that the program, the Centenarian Recognition Program, be included within the Heroes, Heritage, and History Policy, and that the application to recognize people be included in that policy as well. The process to amend the HHP is subject to the Citizen Advisory Commission review, and as such, the proposed changes to the policy are presented for your review and consideration in making a recommendation to the City Council. Amendments, as detailed in the staff report, are included in a red line version that's attached. These include text found on page 4 of the agenda item, which add to a listing of attachments, the application, make amendments to the purpose statement of the policy. There's also changes on page 5 of the agenda packet under the discussion title. There are changes within the table of contents of the policy on page 6, and the new Centenarian Recognition section is included on pages 18 and 19 of the agenda item. Lastly, the new 2-page application form is included on pages 23 and 24. So again, council took action to create the Centenarian Recognition Program and provided direction that it be incorporated into the Heroes History and Heritage Policy, and that is before the CAC for review and ultimately recommendation to council this afternoon.
Thank you for that report. Does the commission have any questions for staff? Again, at this time, it's only the questions, comments, and discussion will be considered later following public comment. Any questions of staff on the report?
Nope.
Okay, with that, are there any public comments on this item?
No public comments for this item.
Okay, I'm gonna go open it up to the commissioners. Commissioners, what do we think of this recommendation from staff? We're now going to be considering it.
I recommend that we have staff, put this into our program.
So you would move the recommended action.
Right.
I'll second that, and then we can have discussion on this. Commissioners? Any discussion on this?
I just have a couple comments. I just think it's a great idea, and I think it's a nice addition to recognition of our centenarians. I had asked a little earlier if this is an annual thing, but it's an ongoing, rolling recognition, which I think is great, because you never know when you're going to turn 100, and it's great to celebrate those days, because those don't come very often. So thank you for the consideration of putting this in and including this in the program. Thank you.
Yeah, I also thank staff. I know, I recall very well when this policy first came before the CAC. I think I might be the only member left. Maybe Becky, you may have been here. When we adopted this policy, my concern was at that time was that it was overly broad. But hey, since it's so broad, let's add in some detail that will help guide future work of the city. And so I'm happy to see this in here. And so with that, unless there's any other questions or comments. Is there a request for public comment before we vote?
He wanted to ask a question.
So, commissioners, if it's agreeable to you, we'll reopen public comment before we go and go to vote on this item. We'll go ahead and reopen public comment, 3 minutes, please. Thank you.
Thank you. I just had one question. It just occurred to me. So if a person turns 100 and then 101, 102, 103, 104, and maybe 105, will we recognize them every year? Was that your question?
That wasn't my question, but that's a good question.
But I think that would be amazing, though. You know, yeah, you made 100. If you make 101, we should perhaps.
The
That was a
milestone.
question that developed in my mind after hearing your question.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for that. So we'll go ahead and close public comment at this time. Commissioners, any questions of staff?
No.
Any questions of staff?
Would we want to consider that?
I mean, I would imagine that applicant would just need to go through the application again. But the city council can recognize people at any time for all sorts of reasons. Staff, do you mind?
Yeah, so currently the way that the recognition program was envisioned is someone would be recognized for turning 100. Now, if the opportunity was missed and someone, for instance, moved into our community and they weren't aware of the program and they learned about it when the person turned 101, the way it's envisioned now is that they could submit the application after. But the way the program is structured currently is not that they would be recognized each year. That doesn't mean that the program couldn't be amended to allow for that, but that's not what was envisioned at this time.
Do we know how many 100-year-old residents we have?
We don't have a census on that,
Yeah.
but I will say we, in the last 2 years, have recognized 2 individuals that turned 100, and we have at least one application. I think we have one application, and we've heard the potential of a second submittal coming. So there are some out there,
That's
and we look forward to recognizing them.
Pull that voter list of those over 100. Okay, thank you for that. It's been moved and seconded. If we can go ahead and move to the vote, I think.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Hearing none, motion passes unanimously.
Thank you so much. We're now going to move to our third item this afternoon, and that is our annual Wainimi Hero Award. Staff, if you don't mind presenting the report. Thank you.
Sure. Agenda item number 3 does pertain to the 2025 Wainimi Hero Award. So as a quick overview, the Heroes History and Heritage Policy establishes the process by which individuals and groups can be recognized, those that embody community values and that are closely tied with the city's history, and those that have made significant contributions to the community. Specifically, Section 5 of the policy creates the annual Wainimi Hero Award. This award was created to honor people or groups that have made extraordinary community contributions in specific areas that include public safety, community development, cultural heritage, community service, the environment, and economic development. The policy provides that contributions that that can be recognized should have occurred between May 1st of last year and April 30th of the current year, and there is an annual nomination deadline of June 1st. Awardees are recognized at the Hueneme Beach Festival by having a city proclamation issued to them and by recognition on the Hueneme Hero plaque here at City Hall. This year, to promote awareness of the award and encourage nominations, the city began promoting the applications on April 14th. Promotion efforts included the use of city social media outlets, the city's website, the city newsletter, and announcements at city council meetings. A total of 13 applications nominating 7 different individuals or groups were received. The nominations are summarized in the report and included in their entirety in the agenda packet. This commission is tasked with reviewing the applications and ultimately making a recommendation to the City Council. I'll note that this year's Hueneme Beach Festival is scheduled for July 12th and 13th. As a result, the process to receive, review, make a recommendation, and ultimately have the council approve the Hueneme Hero is expedited this year. Council action is slated for next Monday, June 16th, as that is the last council meeting prior to the Hueneme Beach Festival. So with that, I turn it over to the commission for any questions you may have, either about the process or anything else staff can assist with.
Commissioners, what questions do we have for staff before we head to public comment, and then we can come back to deliberation? Any questions or clarifications for staff? Okay, so let's go ahead and move to public comment, and then we'll return for deliberation.
Stephen Gama.
Thank you, Chair Auclair and staff and the fellow commissioners. Before I get started, I just want to say that I'm speaking on my own behalf as a resident who happens to be a city council member. In no way should my comments be taken as representing the city of Port Hueneme or the entire city council. So start my time now. I stand here today to strongly support Anna Bolo's nomination for the Heroes Award. The last 2 years have been extremely difficult for Hueneme Little League, and Anna Bolo succeeded mightily. The fact that you ran a Hueneme Little League outside of the city of Port Hueneme and had to rely on other localities, other facilities, working with our team here to enhance the baseball facilities at Bubbling Springs Park was amazing. And she accomplished all these successes with a great attitude, community spirit, and then it was so wonderful to be able to see the Little League regain control of the newly renovated Bubbling Springs Park, and with all the innovations and improvements that Anna Bolo was very much supportive of. So I strongly encourage you to do that. I'm limited time. I do have 15 extra seconds maybe though. Anyways, Hueneme Beach Cleanup volunteers were also nominated, and I greatly appreciate that. All the volunteers have done so by living up to the example set by Ted Waddell. Ted Waddell was a giant in this community. Hundreds and hundreds of hours he volunteered in the police department. He was the original guy with a bucket and a stick, and it was he who inspired the creation of Hueneme Beach Cleanup. He passed away 9 years ago, and I'm here because after a lot of thought, I really believe next year Ted Waddell should be our hero, and I'm going to nominate him. And so I have some information about Mr. Waddell that I want to leave with you. But this person was so instrumental in the city of Port Hueneme. Like I said, he was a giant. He was the original volunteer. He was the original guy that would pick up trash in and around the community. And he was the inspiration for what we now know as Hueneme Beach Cleanup. So, and the other thing that I wanted to state is that there literally have been hundreds, if not thousands, of volunteers. And so I put together a little slide deck for y'all to look at. And it all points back to Ted Waddell. So I'm going to leave this information for you, and then I'm going to mark my calendar, and I'm going to make an application for Mr. Ted Waddell next year. And hopefully you could have this information preserved so that it could be available for next year. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Gama.
And we have one written public comment.
Go ahead.
On behalf of the Wainimi Elementary School District, E.O. Green Junior High School expresses our deepest gratitude to the Port Wainimi Lions Club for their generous $500 donation to the Hive Wellness Center and for their unwavering support of our students and staff. E.O. Green Junior High School proudly serves 939 students, many of whom face socioeconomic challenges that extend beyond the classroom. The Port Wainimi Lions Club's contribution has had a profound and far-reaching impact on our campus, supporting the physical, emotional, and academic needs of our students in tangible, meaningful ways. Thanks to their generosity, our Hive Wellness Center has been able to stock and distribute care closet essentials such as hygiene products, clothing, and school supplies to students who otherwise might go without. These items ensure that students can come to school feeling cared for, respected, and prepared to learn. This seemingly simple support has had powerful outcomes, increased attendance, improved focus, and a noticeable boost in student confidence. In addition, the Lions Club's support has allowed us to expand our daily social emotional learning activities through the Hive Wellness Center. These daily mindfulness practices, journaling sessions, and group connection activities are more than just feel-good moments. They are critical tools that help students manage stress, develop empathy, and improve peer relationships. Many of our students look forward to visiting the Hive daily as a safe space to regroup, reflect, and grow. The Port Wainimi Lions Club has also extended its kindness to individual students, funding boxing equipment for one and paying the football registration fee for another. These acts of generosity go far beyond financial assistance. They offer students a chance to participate in structured after-school activities that build self-esteem, discipline, and a sense of belonging. For families navigating financial hardship, these opportunities can be life-changing. Importantly, the Lions Club has not only supported our students, but also helped lift the spirits of our staff. By recognizing our Staff of the Month honorees and contributing to staff morale initiatives, the Lions Club has reinforced a culture of appreciation and positivity. This support affirms the hard work our educators do each day and contributes to a healthier, more motivated learning environment for everyone. The impact of the Port Wainimi Lions Club is not just measured in dollars or items donated, it is seen in the daily smiles of students who feel seen and supported, in the resilience of families who feel less alone, and in the strength of a school community that feels truly cared for by its partners. Their contribution is a powerful reminder to our students of the importance of service and community involvement, values we hope to instill in them as they grow into future leaders. The Lions Club is not just giving, they are planting seeds of hope, compassion, and connectedness that will bear fruit for years. From the bottom of our hearts, we thank the Port Wainimi Lions Club for championing our school, our students, and our mission. And that is from D. Topi Sanchez on behalf of the E.O. Green Junior High School.
Thank you. Any other?
Sorry, that concludes public comment.
Thank you. So Commissioners, we now turn to deliberation on this item. In the past, we've awarded the recognition to more than one individual. Sometimes we've done one individual. I don't believe we've done groups yet, groups of individuals, but with that, let's open up for deliberation. Who would like to go first?
A question?
Yes, go ahead.
Groups of individuals, is that the same as organization or no?
Yeah, so I don't believe we've recognized organizations or like groups of individuals. Yeah, not that I'm aware of.
Chair, I think one of the first awardees was the Friends of Ormond Beach.
Oh, okay.
So that's going back a number of years. That might have been the first one.
Yeah.
That's the only example I can think of as far as a group that was recognized.
Okay, thank you for that. We'd like to kick us off with deliberation.
Well, I think it's not a bad idea to have groups being recognized for their volunteer efforts, and I can see that, you know, as a group, you can provide a greater impact to our community, which is great. You know, I think that as I reviewed these, a couple things stood out for me, and happy to talk further about that. I think that the Lions Club's contribution certainly is significant And I do appreciate, and I know they're a new club to our city, my understanding. Also do, I also really do appreciate the Wainimi Beach cleanup effort, but I think that Gama's comment about, what was his name, Ted? Waldo is interesting, and maybe that's one we hold off to next year and make it a big group and honoring Ted Waddell. Because I think, I mean, living near the beach, I get to see the cleanup every week, and it's significant, and they certainly contribute to a more beautiful beach. And having been to the opening of the Bubbling Springs Park and seeing what the Little League team did, I tend to also honor Anna. I know it was a huge challenge for her to find a place to get her kids to play, and it's a stunning baseball field and park overall, and there's some wonderful attributes to that. I also was looking at Andy, I'm not sure how to say his last name,
Bhakta?
Bhakta, given that he was there to save a life and with CPR and in dealing with a fire situation, that certainly is a hero, in my opinion. And I also am impressed with Jennifer, and again, a name that I'm not sure if I'm going to say this right, Thomori. After 16 years of working as a volunteer in elementary school, the longevity of that volunteerism is significant and sticks out. Those are my initial comments, and seeing the significant impact to our children is really great. So those are my thoughts of who the ones that stand out to me.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner. Other commissioners?
I'll go next.
Yeah.
Okay, so after reviewing these two as well, I think I'm a big promoter of recognizing volunteers. I think they're like the most people giving for free, of charge of their own will. And I like to recognize and acknowledge organizations that have a broader impact that can recognize a lot more people at once, because I think it goes a lot further. Not to dismiss an individual, of their work. The one, obviously, I think the Lions Club with 6 different nominations, I think stands out to me. Anna Bolo, I think, stands out to me as well, because you look at the impact of what her individual work did with, how many teams do they have? Quite a bit of children. So I think the impact as it trickles down is very, very huge in our community. Those were the 2 that stuck out to me when I was reviewing this as far as the widest impact. That's all I have on those.
Yeah, I would like to say that we've got a good selection to people to consider, which I think is a testament to our community and our city here. But the ones that have definitely stood out to me the most is, I think, Ms. Jennifer Tahamarov, as Commissioner Burke mentioned, the dedication to our elementary school students and making sure that they have the resources they need to succeed and grow up in our community successfully, along with Lupi Contreras, also in that same vein when it comes to teachers and their support to our education for the elementary school, middle school, and high school students.
Thank you. Becky?
No, I agree with what Lou has said about the Lions Club and Anna Bolo. I watched Anna for the last 2 years come before the city council and beg practically for them to help with the Little League. And you can tell that she was really concerned about where these kids were going to be playing at. And the Lions Club, from what I've seen and heard, has done a tremendous job in the short amount of time they've been in the city. So So if it was up to me, I would nominate those two.
Okay, well, good news is it is up to you.
Okay?
Um,
I'm gonna nominate the Lions Club.
Well, 1 second, hold on. I haven't given my contribution. Oh, did you have anything else you wanted to add?
No.
So I want to thank the city for promoting this opportunity for nominations. I know each year we try different methods of reaching out to solicit nominations, and this year we certainly got more nominations than I think we've had in several years. I appreciate that we're including organizations, and that's something that we should all include in our promotion going forward. So all the organizations are aware. I mean, we only have so many, so
Right.
maybe every year they get one kind of situation. And so I also want to recognize just the individual stories that are here. Really covers a large facet of our lives here in our community. So one thing I am going to do is, if we agree that the beach cleanup volunteers, we will consider them next year. We're not awarding anything, but we'll consider them next year if we're okay with that, so we can kind of just move them to next year.
Mhm.
And then looking at everybody else, I mean, I agree that the Lions Club certainly has made every attempt to be as active as possible, recognizing that it's a little interesting because we have a lot of city leaders in the Lions Club. So that's often how those things get started, right? As community leaders who've seen it elsewhere and support it launching in a new city. And then for my second listing, it's hard because so far we have one nomination for Contreras, one for Jennifer, one for Andy, and 3 for Anna. 2 for Jennifer, okay. 3 for Anna. Okay. Oh, that's right, Becky, I think,
Mhm.
for Jennifer. Yeah. Yeah, 1 for Andy. So what we could do, if people are comfortable, is move to a discussion where we discuss Wainimi Lions Club, Jennifer, and Anna. Are we comfortable doing that? Okay, so.
Are those the ones that received the highest number?
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so if we move to a discussion of those 2 individuals in the group, what are our thoughts among that? Again, we're not limited in how many people we recognize,
Mhm.
but I just wanted to open it back up to the commission.
Okay, so do we pick just either one, or?
No, I mean,
You can pick-
technically, we could award all of everybody. Just
I-
whatever the desire of the commission
I'm
is.
sorry, go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, basically, I think one of our nominees is here, Lupi. Hi, Lupi.
Mhm.
And like I said, I think I agree with, thank you, Randall, for mentioning her, but she's part of the Lions Club as well. And I think her efforts, go above and beyond, an individual in the group. But just not include, I don't think I need to sell it. I think the Lions Club have volunteered at almost every city event this year as well, as far as preparing and volunteering and serving, whether it was the beach festival, the extravaganza, Christmas. So I think they're on top of my list for that. Again, I'll go back to Anna, based on what Gama said and what I've read. And I know she came and presented to a couple of our Lions Club, one of our Lions Club's meetings as well. And the enormous work that they did and what they had to do to get that place ready. And I think it's highly commendable and honorable for one person. I know it takes a village, but there's always one leader at the helm. So those are my top 2, if we're limited to 2 that I would choose.
Other thoughts?
Yeah, I would like to suggest the Lions Club, Anna, as well as Jennifer, because I think that with the 16 years that Jennifer's been dedicating her time as a volunteer to the elementary school, especially with helping with reading and comprehension. And as we all know, if you can't read, you will most likely not have a successful life, and you won't be able to learn. And it's such a critical skill to learn for our children, especially by the age of 3rd grade. So I think that, you know, if she's been hanging in there for such a long time to try to help our young people, I think that's pretty significant. And they're very different, and Lupe Contreras is part of the the Lions Club, and I think that whole thing kind of comes together as a group effort, in my opinion. And I appreciate that very, very much, because she's influenced, certainly, the Lions Club to focus on that as an important part of their efforts, and I think that's significant. So I was thinking that, you know, maybe the three of them actually would be, I don't have a problem, they're uniquely different. You know, we've got the baseball field, it's a one-time deal. It was a heroic effort that took a lot of time, money, and several years to get that rolling. And of course, and I think that it kind of just has a little bit of diversity in the way we're approaching it. So it gives us a little bit of a diverse hero award process, I think. That's my suggestion, just to do the three.
So Commissioner, if
I
you're-
totally agree.
so Commissioner, if you'd
Making
like,
that a motion.
yeah, you can make that a motion
And
that
I'll
we
second.
that we recognize the Port Hueneme Lions Club as an organization, and Anna and Jennifer as individuals. Okay, that's been moved and seconded by Jan and Becky. Commissioners, any discussion on this item? I mean, on that motion, or
Just a question. So the city council will be okay with 3? Because I think when I looked at the plaque, I've only seen like 2 people each year.
Thanks for asking that. In my mind, I was trying to figure out, we have 2 slots for pictures. How can we?
Right.
We can make it work. I think if the council were to approve it, what I would propose, as you indicated, there are 2 spots for pictures. We'd probably have the group take one of the spots, take 2 pictures of the individuals that are approved, and
That's a good idea.
kind of have like a split where they both are on that second one. But thank you. I was thinking the same thing. I can't speak for the council, but I don't think that they should be limited based on number if they feel as though all of the nominees are representative of the spirit of the Hero Award.
Absolutely. Thank you.
thank you. One thing I would note is whether it's this year or a future year, it'd be interesting to take a look at other cities who may have a similar process and how we acknowledge those that were nominated, even if they weren't selected, so they're aware that they've been nominated. Because even being nominated is an honor,
Yeah.
right? You're being recognized.
Right.
And all of these folks are very, you know, we might end up awarding them next year, right? So, so just some process for that, even a formal notification of, it's kind of an awkward, but I'm sure there's some way to phrase it that's not exactly like, you know, thanks for applying, but we went to dance with somebody else kind of situation. But just letting them know they've been nominated and that we thank them for their service to Port Hueneme.
Well, you know, I think if I could just make a comment, I think that's kind of why I didn't want to dismiss Andy's nomination because it stood out too. But then when I kind of saw that the police were going to be nominating for another award,
Yeah.
that's kind of something there. And then even with the, well, I guess we're going to include Jennifer if we did, and I was going to call Luke and be like, hey, let's talk to the school district. Let's get her recognized too for her efforts, you know, so there's other avenues so people aren't forgotten, because I agree, just being nominated is huge.
Well, and it could also be something, you know, in a public meeting that we're having right now, that other council members on the city council beyond this agenda item could also do commendations for some of these individuals or recognize them in other ways outside of this process. And so now since they've been identified in this process, hopefully, you know, other decision makers could also, you know, certificates are almost free, so they can go ahead and can
Absolutely.
recognize people if they want. Some mayors, it's like their pastime, recognizing the community. It's nice.
Yeah.
Okay, commissioners, so if you're comfortable, do we have that motion recorded and we can move to a vote?
I just want to confirm the motion was made by Vice Chair Burke and seconded by Bruni.
Yes.
Okay. Perfect. All in favor?
I
All opposed? Hearing none, motion passes unanimously.
Thank you, and thank you, commissioners, for that one. That was a lot of applicants. I think one of the highest amount of applicants we've received. Okay, we're now going to move to our next item, which is staff comments. Staff, do we have comments?
Just very briefly, I'll let the commission know that we did receive an application to recognize someone under the Heroes History Heritage policy. That application is in the staff screening review process, working with the applicant to get a little bit more information. I only bring that up. We have a regularly scheduled meeting in July that I had initially thought would be canceled because of this special meeting. It may be that we have that meeting should we get the information that's necessary to bring that forward. So don't remove it from your calendars just yet. We'll be in touch soon.
For what one was this, a Centurion one or?
No, this is for under the memorials and monuments section of the policy. We have an application to recognize somebody with a memorial. And again, we're just getting additional information
got it.
from the applicant.
Okay, outside of this hero stuff, right? This is just.
Different from the
got it.
heroes, yes.
Yeah. Any other staff comments? Okay, we're now going to move to commissioner comments. Commissioners? Any upcoming events we need to know about or fun, ha-has?
I think I was going to do it at the next city council meeting, but the Lions Club is actually celebrating their first annual installation and banquet. We're trying to take advantage of businesses in Port Hueneme, so it will be held at Jalisco's Mexican Cafe. So it's the installation of our club officers and the 1-year anniversary as well. So if you see it out there, you guys are welcome to come if you like.
When is that?
I think it's June 25th.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Wonderful. I'll be sure to post that in the Port Hueneme neighborhood group so
Right,
the
yeah.
community knows about it.
Yeah.
Any other comments from commissioners?
Yeah, I would love to just recognize staff again for another remarkable Memorial Day event. I think it's such a touching ceremony to have at the pier. We had a tremendous turnout this year. It was second year, I guess, at the pier. And I think that's it's a lot of good speakers and a lot of good participation of families who have lost members to service. So I think that I just want to thank the staff for another really great event and all the work that you guys have to put into that. So thank you.
Taking no credit, I will say thank you, and I'll pass that on to the folks that are involved with planning that event.
I have a
Thank you.
question or comment. So is it okay?
Yes, go ahead.
Oh, so the last meeting we had was that long 2-hour one regarding the community benefit funds. So do we have any progress on that? Like I think they've met once, right? Is this just an ongoing negotiation when they approve?
So due to Brown Act, since it's not on our agenda, I'm not going to give an extended response. I'll simply say there have been discussions. There has not been any formal action that has been taken as a result of the initial conversation.
Thank you.
Although we don't set our future agenda items, that would be nice to have a report back at some point later this year of what ended up happening with our recommendations, or rather what projects ended up being funded by that joint fund.
And an update on the statue. That would be nice to know from the last year's.
Yeah, it's floating out there somewhere.
Can I ask what statue you guys are talking about?
Yeah, they're
Bard statue?
Oh, okay, I heard about that, but okay.
Yeah. So the last thing I'll note is I just want to thank the city and city staff for raising the pride flag here at our city council chamber. It's been just a wonderful thing to see that in this city it is nonpartisan, it's inclusive, and the whole community comes out to support it. I do want to share with the community to come to Oxnard Pride. It's the last Saturday in June. It's one of the largest Pride celebrations in the county. It's the largest during Pride Month. And lots of Port Hueneme folks are there and organizations. So it's a fantastic event at Plaza Park in Oxnard. Yes.
I forgot. I also want to wish everyone a terrific Independence Day. We have a lot going on during that weekend. It's going to be a long weekend, and I know that our officers will be out in full force because it's a Friday. So
Nice.
a long weekend means a lot of activity at the beach and a lot of noise. But anyway, I hope you all have a wonderful and safe and great Independence Day weekend. Thank you.
Thank you.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Thank you, Vice Chair. We're now going to go ahead and adjourn the meeting at 3:43. And the meeting is adjourned. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.